Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, this is show number 181. Today's date is July 31st, 2017, and the name of the show is the McCain Mutiny. Now I know, you're going to be sitting home going, Rich, that's brilliant. The McCain Mutiny, that's really brilliant. Well, guys, I have to admit, it is really brilliant, but I didn't come up with it. Our sound man, Kurt is the guy that came up with it, and I tell you, very witty, and I appreciate it, and he does a wonderful job on the soundboard, and he's the guy that makes the sign. And we got Judy Fingers McClellan working the switchboard. But guys, tonight we're going to have fun because I tell you, John McCain delivered the bitch slap heard round the world. So Judy, let's listen to the bitch slap heard round the world. Clip 00, please.
Mr. Peters.
No.
Mr. Portman.
The silence is deafening, isn't it, guys? Look at that. Mitch McConnell standing there like a lost puppy, like somebody just took away his best friend. And why? Because he realizes, Judy, can you come back to me, Judy? Because he realizes that his dreams have just been dashed. Everything he's worked for, how he's tried to get over on the American people, how he tried to bamboozle us, how he tried to give tax breaks to the billionaires, all that's coming crashing down. So Judy, just for fun, let's have the clip again, and at the end, I want you to bring up the graphic which might indicate what Mitch is thinking. So Judy, clip 00 again, please.
Mr. Peters.
No.
Guys, what could possibly going through Mitch McConnell's head? Judy, can you bring that up? What could he be thinking? First thing out of his mind's got to be, you son of a biatch. The next thing he's got to be thinking is, how could you sell out your party? You're a Republican. You're supposed to vote with the R. And the next question, I'm sure, which is feverishly going through Mitch's mind is, the donors are going to be furious. And guys, the last and most important question that I'm sure is running through Mitch McConnell's mind is, what is Uncle Joey gonna say? So Judy, come back to me. What is Uncle Joey gonna say to the bitch slap that was heard around the world? Well, the first thing he's probably gonna say is, I didn't hear nothing, and he didn't even slap him. You know? And that'll be Joey's defense. But guys, you know, it was when we were kids, we used to call them SBD, silent but deadly. And the silence was deadly. And why was the silence deadly? Because they just killed Trump Care. They just drove a stake through the heart of Trump Care, and Mitch McConnell didn't know what to do. And the problem is, you've got all the donors that contributed to the Republican Party. And why did they contribute to the Republican Party? So they could get tax breaks. So now the Republican Party didn't get them the tax breaks that they were promising. So now you've got guys like the Koch brothers and Sheldon Adelson and the Waltons who paid the Republican Party so that they could get lower taxes So they had to pay the lawyers and the lobbyists so that they would get lower taxes. Now they didn't get lower taxes, so they got to pay. They got to pay the same amount in taxes, and now they got to pay the lawyers and the lobbyists. So they ain't getting their money's worth. Uncle Joey, you see how this works? But guys, when we said about Uncle Joey, and what's Uncle Joey gonna say? Guys, before I did the show, I sent to a face mail to Uncle Joey. And Judy, can you bring up still number 00A, please? And I said to Uncle Joey, I said, Joey, tonight's show will be called the McCain Mutiny. Want to say something? Can you bring it up, Judy? Bring it up full. There you go. Tonight's show will be called the McCain Mutiny. Want to say something stupid so I can quote you? And Uncle Joey, he thinks he's John Wayne. He's over on the left-hand side. He yawned. So I typed back, I said, McCain just bitch slapped the snot out of your party and you. Yawn? Donnie ain't gonna be happy with you. Yeah, Mr. Trump ain't gonna be happy. And then Joey wrote back, once a backstabbing traitor, always a backstabbing traitor. I always knew he was a libtard in hiding. Nothing shocking to me. So guys, Uncle Joey is saying that he thinks McCain's a libtard, a liberal. Okay, so I answered back, so he's a backstabber because he won't give tax breaks to billionaires? See how stupid, Judy, you can come back and forth to me. See how stupid your logic is? And again, Joey posted yawn. I would expect nothing less from a war criminal. And I said, now McCain is a war criminal? Why? Because he didn't vote Republican? Judy, can we go to the next still, please? And I got it up here. So now McCain is a war criminal. Why? Because you didn't vote Republican? And Joey typed back, I'm done trying to educate you. You're all the same. If you people don't like a fact, you simply make like it does no exist. Guys, I don't think Uncle Joey wrote this, because normally Uncle Joey is very explicit with his language. This might have been one of his kids or somebody tapped it. Judy, you can come back and forth, you know. You got use your discretion a little bit. Play with the machine. All right, so anyway. So I asked him, how is McCain a war criminal? Please educate me. Thanks. And Uncle Joey said, I'm not going to waste my time. And I answered back, when you're not going to waste your time, that means you just pulled that out of your ass, didn't you? And Joey said, nope. It means that if you actually wanted to know the truth, you would have looked it up by now, critical thinker, because I always say he's not a critical thinker. So I will no longer waste a minute on your moronic ass. Woo. And I answered, Joe, I want to see your sources so I can explain, and I lost that page, damn it. I want to see your sources so I can see how you are being brainwashed. Are you too embarrassed to reveal your sources? And guys, this is the last page with Uncle Joey. Are you too embarrassed to reveal your sources? What part on not a minute of my time do you not understand? And I answered Joey, I said, Joey, my viewers love Uncle Joey. Thank you. And Joey was sorry, both of them, he always says, I have no viewers. Which, hey guys, we don't have a lot, but you know what? It only takes one viewer. So I said to Uncle Joey, I said, how many viewers do you have on your YouTube page? And he doesn't have a YouTube page because he wouldn't do something like this. But he said that I have the mentality of a child. And guys, this is what he posted. At the core of liberalism is the spoiled child. miserable as all spoiled children are, unsatisfied, demanding, ill-disciplined, despotic and useless. Liberalism is a mere philosophy of sniveling brats. P.J. O'Rourke. Who the hell is P.J. O'Rourke? But you know what? Uncle Joey will go to a conservative site to get a conservative answer to back up what his conservative mind conservatively thinks of, and that's it. If it ain't Republican, if it don't have an R with it, it ain't for Uncle Joey. And you know, after a while, all this stuff comes back to bite you. And the reason why is Trump's been so vicious. And I mean, Trump's pulled no punches. He it doesn't matter. He insists on insulting people. And he doesn't care who, when, where, why, or how. Oh. And by the way, our last show, guys, our last show was named Scaramucci. And Kurt and I were going to take a pool to see how long he would stay in office. Well, guess he resigned today. He lasted 11 days. So you see what? Somebody at the White House probably watched our last show and they said, uh-oh, Uncle Rich is on to us. Uncle Rich and Danbury is on to us. That's it. We better get rid of Scaramucci. Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get you fired. But hey, when you got the bully pulpit like I do, stuff happens. But when you go through life and you're going to start giving people the old bada-bing, the payback's a bitch. So, Judy, let's show how bad the payback can be with clip number 1, please. Now we want to go to video 1, Judy. There you go.
He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay?
You bum. And here's McCain's answer. Bada-bing. Bada-bing. Hey. It's all fair. It's all, what goes around comes around. You asked for it, you got it. Now it's coming back to haunt you. You thought you were a hot shot. You thought you can get away with the nonsense. The people have spoken. And, the chants turned into not yes, we can anymore. The chants are now, yes, we did. And why? Well, we'll show you how it happened. So, Judy, let's have clip number 2, please.
We all know this is likely to be a very long night.
It's going to be a long night for you, Mitch. Shame on you is right. Look at this weasel trying to lobby McCain. Pence walks away. Who's he going? He's going to call Uncle Tatane. I'm twisting his arm and it ain't working. Now what do I do? The Democrats come over, schmooze him a little bit.
John McCain, do the right thing. John McCain, do the right thing.
They asked him to do the right thing, and here it comes. Bada-bing. Uncle Joey, did that hurt? Look at that.
The ayes are 49, the nays are 51. The amendment's not agreed to.
This is clearly a disappointing moment.
Yes, we did.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yes, we
Stick
did.
around, baby.
All of us were so inspired
Next on the I'm
by
fired.
the speech and the life of the senator from Arizona.
I want to thank you tonight what you've been doing.
People across this country said healthcare is a basic human right.
What's great about this is that we're going to have hearings with experts. What a hell of an idea, huh?
Hearings with experts? Forget about it. The Republican Party won't believe a word you say. You show them a fact and they'll deny it. Why? They have to. They're the party that's against science. They don't understand global warming. You know, we're the only advanced country in the world that doesn't have health care. And, you know, at this point in time, it's okay to take a victory lap because in the heat of the moment, we can be happy. But guys, I want to tell you one thing. We can't rest. We got to keep up the pressure because you can't trust these guys. You cannot trust the Republican Party. These guys are con men and Shylocks, and Trump is the perfect example of their leadership. I mean, really, it's sad. But let's watch Bernie take a bit of a victory lap. So, Judy, clip number 3, please. My boy Bernie. There he is. You did good, Bernie. Did good, kid.
I just want to thank all of you, all the folks in the disability communities, all the folks in Planned Parenthood, all of the millions of people all across this country who stood up and fought back. Yes. So tonight was a victory for the American people. It was a victory for 16 million people who would have been thrown off of health care. It was a victory for people who will not have to pay a 20% increase in their premiums. But tonight is just a first start. We've got a long way to go, and our goal must be to join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child. Thank you. You guys won this. Thank you all very much.
Single payer Medicare for all. And guys, you know, you're going to get tired of hearing that, but that's the eventual goal. But in the meantime, let's have a public option available. You keep hearing about the Republican Party talking about we need to be able to sell over state lines. Let's take it one step further. Let's get the government involved in the bidding. And let's see, you watch with the competition, you watch how the prices will drop. So guys, Bernie's going to explain, you know, before we can really get the single payer, we really need the public option. And Bernie's going to try to explain it. And then we're going to show you a still, which will really try to help explain it. So Judy, let's have clip number 4, please. You with me, Judy?
Joining me now is Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of the great state of Vermont. Senator Sanders, always good to see you.
Maybe even better. It's a very good bill right now. The premier.
Joining me now is Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of the great state of Vermont. Senator Sanders, always good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Let's just plunge right into health care. President Trump threatening on Twitter both lawmakers and insurance companies on Saturday, saying he's prepared to cut off the quote bailouts that you and the insurance companies receive. What do you make of these threats?
You know, I really think it's incomprehensible that we have a president of the United States who wants to sabotage health care in America, make life more difficult for millions of people who are struggling now to get the health insurance they need and to pay for that health insurance. Maybe the president should put down his, stop his tweeting for a while and understand that America today is the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people, and the solution is not to throw tens of millions of people off of health insurance
that they currently have.
What do you make of the threats directly at members of Congress about your health insurance? Mick Mulvaney was on the show earlier trying to explain what the threat exactly meant.
Well, I would turn that around a little bit and say to the President of the United States that yes, every single American in every state in this country should be able to get the health care that members of Congress have. And that is why if we are able to return to regular order, if we are able to have a serious debate on the health care crisis, I think there should be a public option available in every state in this country. If people don't like the private insurance that they're getting, if it's too expensive, they should have a Medicare-type public option available in every state in this country. And that's
when you were
one of the...
Guys, did you hear what Bernie said? Wants a return to order. And I tell you, what's happened in the bought Congress and the bought Senate is these guys don't, nothing that they do anymore is from the old order. I mean, this is all the crazy stuff that's coming up. But guys, the next, we're gonna show you still, and the reason I want to try to explain what the public option is, because hey, if you don't know what it is, that's fine. So Judy, can you bring up still number 5, please? And guys, if you don't know what the public option is, I'm going to read it. The public health insurance option, also known as the public insurance option or the public option, is a proposal to create a government-run health insurance agency that would compete with other private health insurance companies within the United States. Judy, come back to me. Guys, what's the one thing that the capitalists love? The Republican Party capitalists? Competition, right? Fine. Let's have some competition. What could be better? You'll say, and what'll happen is, once people start to understand what the public option is and how they could save money, you know what? Trump can sit there and tout that Obamacare is going to fail all he wants. Because if you can replace it with this, guess what? You'll be doing a favor for all your fellow Americans. And like Uncle Joe, I always say to Uncle Joey, Uncle Joey wants to take health insurance away from his friends and neighbors. He wants to give tax breaks to his billionaire friends. He thinks he's part of the billionaire class. He's been brainwashed to think that way. Joey, when they say, when the Koch brothers and the Republican Party say tax breaks, they don't mean tax breaks for you. They mean tax breaks for them, for the top 1% of the 1%. They're paying for their tax breaks. You're going to pay one way or the other. They would rather pay lawyers and lobbyists. We don't have that option. We have to pay. But anyway, so the funny thing with Trump is so deceitful that Trump will say and endorse things that he tends to disagree with. And you'll say, oh, come on, Rich, that's crazy. Guys, listen to how much Trump favors Medicare and universal health care in Australia. He raves about it. And you think he would want to emulate Australia? You think he would want to say, hey, wait a minute. Can you tell us how you're doing it? Would you please explain to me how you're able to take care of all the people in your country at half the price that we're paying now in the United States? If Trump was a good businessman, if he knew how to negotiate, these would be things that would be foremost on his plate. But no, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to take care of the middle class. He wants to take care of his billionaire buddies. And Joey has been convinced that he's one of Trump's billionaire buddies. Why? Because everybody else is a moocher and a taker that wants to steal from Uncle Joey. And Uncle Joey, nobody's taking anything from you, And sooner or later, you're going to find out that you are part of the middle class. Yeah. And you'll benefit from a public option. You'll benefit from Medicare for all. And you'll benefit from single payer. But sometimes it takes time. And with Uncle Joey, it seems like it's taken an awful long time. But guys, let me prove my point and watch how Trump glows about Medicare for Australia, and just, you think the light would go on. You think he'd say, wait a minute, but not Trump. If it's not good for Trump, it ain't good. So Judy, let's have clip number 6, please.
Maybe even better. It's a very good bill right now. The premiums are going to come down very substantially. The deductibles are going to come down. It's going to be fantastic health care. Right now, Obamacare is failing. We have a failing health care. I shouldn't say this to our great gentleman and my friend from Australia, because you have better health care than we do.
You have better health care than we do.
They have universal health. I know. I thought you would.
Okay. Wait a minute, Chris. All right. The president has just said it. That's great. Let's take a look at the Australian healthcare system. And let's move. Maybe let's take a look at the Canadian health system or systems throughout Europe. Thank you, Mr. President. Let us move to a Medicare for all system that does what every other major country on earth does. Guarantee health care to all people at a fraction of the cost per capita that we spend. Thank you, Mr. President.
Attaboy, Bernie. Give me the old BATTA-BING. And don't stop. And guys, you know, if Trump was head of your CEO, if Trump was CEO of your corporation, would you fire him for not doing something like that? Would you get rid of him? So Judy, let's ask the question, would you fire Trump with clip number 8, please? Day 1, Scaramucci hired, Spicer quits, woefully unqualified. He addressed the Boy Scouts of America issue, and they had to apologize. Then he bullied the Attorney General. Then he talked about the LBGT. Then Scaramucci had to defend him. Ay, ay, ay. Then he's got to take the abuse from McCain. And what else? Then he fires his chief of staff. Oh, mama mia. It's a revolving door. And at the end it says, leave your comment. Guys, that's it. You know, leave your comments. And, you know, we're on Facebook. Judy, can you put our Facebook thing up there? And, guys, if you got any questions, you know, you want to make a comment, you got something to say it on Facebook. You know, and all the shows are on YouTube. You got something to say, spit it out. If you got something you want me to look at, hey, I'm more than happy to. I'll tell you guys, there is nothing that makes me happier than being able to sit here, because all week long I listen to this, you know, evolving soap opera. And guys, today when Scaramucci resigned, I was watching CNN Live, and the girl from CNN looked like she went into shock, like there was a nuclear war or a missile had been launched, and she more or less said, "You got to be kidding me." And I'm looking, I'm going, uh-oh. And then she goes, "Wait a minute, we're having reports that Anthony Scaramucci resigned." And I'm sitting there going, "You got to be kidding me." And guys, I want to tell you, it's, you know, and the thing is, this happened so quickly they didn't even have time to put the breaking news. You know, they always have breaking news. The news is breaking so fast, they don't have time to put the... But guys, one of the reasons why they don't have time is because Trump constantly contradicts himself. And guys, I know you can say, "Rich, prove it to me." So Judy, let's play clip number 9 and let's prove it to him.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and depression of a hateful foreign ideology. Believe me.
Believe you me. Look at this, guys. After consultation with generals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous military costs. You believe this, guys?
And I have to say, as a Republican, it is so nice to hear you cheering for what I just said. Thank you.
They ain't cheering for you now, Donnie, I can guarantee you that. And they ain't saying thank you to you. And I want, this guy is an evil guy, isn't he? I mean, to say one thing, Judy, to say one thing and to do another. Why? Why is he like this? I mean, does his brain stop working? Does he forget what he said one day, between one day and the next? Never mind. Does he forget what he says in between sentences? Sometimes he contradicts himself in the same sentence. And the poor guys that work for him. You got all these guys are being fired. It's like a revolving door. They don't even have time to get their press credentials and they're gone. So anyway, let's just keep having fun and let's show Trump in another blatant lie. So Judy, let's have clip 10, please.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology. Believe me.
Oh, brother. Guys, this is kind of the same as the other one, different version, but guy's evil. I mean, that's a tweet right from the President of the United States. Can you imagine this?
I served on active duty in the military, and I can tell you, we don't care about gender orientation or identity or who you love. We just care if you can shoot straight and complete the mission. He's excluding qualified and competent people from our all-volunteer military, a military that we need to continue to recruit people to join. And so this is actually hurting our military readiness.
So you tell me, who's better for the gay community and who's better for women than Donald Trump? Believe me.
Believe you? How can we believe anything you say? And especially after you threw Reince Priebus under the bus. I mean, you just gave him the old BATTA-BING and you got rid of him after you continually praised him. And this is why who is going to work for Trump? You give him your devotion and your loyalty, and he kicks you in the Galaducci's. I mean, this guy is nuts. Would you want to work for this guy? So, guys, let's show how he bye-bye Reince and how he throws him under the bus. Judy, clip 11, please.
We have to stick together as a team.
Breaking news right now. It's being reported that Reince Priebus is out as White House Chief of Staff.
This is a fine-tuned machine. And Reince happens to be doing a good job.
We are seeing Reince Priebus out as Chief of Staff.
My really terrific and hardworking Chief of Staff, Reince, is out. But I'll tell you, Reince is really a star.
Current Chief of Staff Reince Priebus is out.
We have to stick together and make sure that we've got President Trump for 8 years.
He basically got rid of his Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus.
Reince is a good man. John Kelly will do a fantastic job. General Kelly has been a star.
done an incredible job thus far, respected by everybody. A great, great American. Reince Priebus, a good man. Thank you very much.
Guys, it's all about one thing: loyalty. My party, right or wrong, my party. And you say something Trump doesn't like, out the door you go. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You know, poor Anthony Scaramucci. You know, I tell you, I feel for the guy because he was like a mini me. You know, I mean, he had the same gestures as Trump. He talked like Trump. He sounded like Trump. He thought like Trump. And here he is. He thought he was going to have a political career with Trump. And what did Trump do? Bada-bing. And it just never stops. But guys, you know, there are some Republicans that refuse to sit by meekly and calmly and kindly. And if you push their buttons, they just might challenge you to a duel. So, Judy, let's have some fun with clip number 12, please.
Some of the people that are opposed to this, they're some female senators from the Northeast. If it was a guy from South Texas, I might ask him to step outside and settle this Aaron Burr style.
Hey, a duel? Isn't that a little extreme?
Yes. No. Is he the one who challenged me to a duel?
I know. Trust me. You know why I challenged you to a duel? Because you could beat the shit out of him first.
And he is so, I don't mean to be unkind, but he's so unattractive. It's unbelievable. I saw. Did you see the picture of him in his pajamas next to this bunny, Playboy bunny?
These are pretty pajamas. This guy is gonna explode. Look at him.
I don't like what he said.
If a tape came out with Donald Trump saying that,
himself on that.
If a tape came out with Donald Trump saying I really like to rape women, you would continue to endorse him.
Again, it would. That would be bad, and I would have to consider. I'd consider it. But again, we're talking about what Donald Trump said 10 years ago, as opposed to what Hillary Clinton has done in the past 2 or 3 years.
If Trump said I raped a woman, I think about it, you'd think about it. You would have to think about it. And then what does he do? He tries to flip it around and he goes, he mentioned Hillary. And this is the way they do it. This is the way Uncle Joe. What about Obama? What about him? Oh, we're going after him for this Russian scandal. Joey, what world do you live in? You know, and Hillary's involved, and so is. I said, Joey, please, let me know when the investigation is over. Right? But guys, when you want to challenge somebody to a duel, it's usually because you're full of hate. And guys, you know, there's hate groups out there, and then there's Christian hate groups. And you're going to say, Rich, what are you talking about, Christian hate groups? And guys, there is some Christian hate groups. And we're going to show you right now. And if you didn't hear the words coming out of these guys' mouths, I mean, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. I'm not making this up. You're going to listen to it and watch it, and you're going to go, wow, I find it hard to believe, but I heard it. And this is the way these people think. Now, Joey's not as radical. He's not a T-Billy T-Hottest like these other guys, not to this extreme. Unless he's got a couple of white sheets hanging up in his closet. I don't know. But anyway, Judy, let's see what Christian hate looks like. Clip 13, please.
Face, for fear he'd be fired from his job, starts to get ready for the evening's rituals.
But you're wearing the robes of traditional terrorists, of traditional haters.
That's just the outlook that they want to give you. That ain't true.
Not everybody was like that.
So you think this is what a good Christian man does?
Yeah, this is our Christianity. I mean, that's just plain and simple.
Howard says he's allowed us to come here to show us the new Klan is neither hate-filled nor violent. Yet what we heard and saw during our time with them suggests otherwise.
Black people and white people are nowhere related. In my opinion, I think black people evolved from animals. And I believe that we need to be separated. Whites and blacks need to be separated. I don't agree with race mixing. Let them set up their own state where they belong and give them their own homeland.
And if your daughter, when she got older, came home and said, I want to go out with a black boy.
I'd disown her. Wouldn't have nothing else to do with her for the rest of my life.
Because of who she loved.
No, it's not love. If you love somebody of your own race.
Who decreed that?
God decreed that. Jesus decreed that.
I thought Jesus said love each other.
Jesus said love your neighbor. But if you read the Bible,
as yourself.
Barack Obama will ruin this country. And white people will be in concentration camps. And if you don't believe white people can't be in concentration camps, people are sadly mistaken.
And his solution to avoid this supposed impending storm is an all-white South, where all blacks, Hispanics, and Jews are banned, given someplace else, he says, to live in America.
I want to make sure I understand you. If the goal is white separatism, separating the races, the only way to separate the races is using violence. You're not going to be able to just say nicely, please leave.
If they will peacefully go, then yeah, but if they won't peacefully go, that's the only way, is through violence. It's through making them go. That's it.
And you'd be willing to be part of that. It's a race war you're talking about, essentially.
Very much so.
His hero and predecessor was a convicted murderer and former head of the Mississippi White Knights.
What do you think about Sam Bowers?
He's the greatest Klansman that ever lived.
Oh, brother. You gotta be kidding me. So, guys, there we have an example of a loving Christian filled with hate. And how does this happen? You know, you got to have brainwashing. You got to have Fox News. You got to have hate radio. Got to listen to things over and over again. But guys, like we showed on this show many times, the brainwashing is very subtle. Very, very subtle. But sometimes the hate isn't so subtle. And sometimes the hate is so bad that people will do things that will actually cost them their job. So their religion and their ideology is bad enough where people will do stuff where they'll end up being fired from the thing that puts money on the table. Why? Because they're filled with hate. But guys, let's play this clip. And this is from a local TV station. And they show the clip, what happened. And they show this woman apologizing. And I mean, so all the sources have been cited. And she apologized. She said she's sorry. But the place where she was working had to let her go. The phone was ringing off the hook. They couldn't conduct business. So, Judy, let's prove my point with clip number 14, please.
Good evening, everyone. That confrontation at a Fargo Walmart parking lot is creating a national media frenzy today. This after that video of the argument went viral.
A Mapleton, North Dakota woman telling 3 young Somali women they are going to die. Amber Elizabeth Hensley has since apologized, saying she lost her cool. WDAY 6 reporter Kevin Wallivan joins us live with more on today's developments. Kevin?
Well, guys, Amber Hensley lost her job today. This as her employer, a CPA firm in Fargo, fielded calls all day from around the country, sometimes 3 phones ringing at once. And a WDAY viewer told us today she witnessed Hensley inside Walmart before the parking lot episode, visibly upset about customer service in lawn and garden, telling a manager to hire people who speak English. The 3 women involved in the parking lot confrontation say today they feared for their lives during the incident, which they say erupted after they parked too close to Amber Hensley's car. Hensley confronted the driver, Layla, and according to the 3 women, made fun of Layla's crossed eyes.
Then she said, yeah, I see the problem in your eyes. That's why can't you see? And I was like, why are you saying like this? I just ignored.
Right now, and I'm going to give a gun.
After that, the conversation went south.
And I'm not going back to my country.
I'm American.
Okay, I don't care. You're not American.
With both sides name-calling.
but the women say Hensley threatened them.
Oh, and she said, like, I will kill you guys all.
Now, the ladies tell us that it was about midway through the confrontation here in the parking lot that they took out the phone to document it and post it on social media. But some on social media have been critical, saying that there appears to be parts missing, that the video's been edited. But the ladies tell us they were using Snapchat. In the short Snapchat video clips, Hensley is telling the women to go home. She then, according to the video, tells the women,
What are you going to do?
We're going to kill all of you. We're going to kill everyone in Muslim.
You're fat. You can't do anything.
It has nothing to do.
You can't do anything.
we're going to kill every one of you, she tells them.
Oh,
Hensley later issued a Facebook message saying she apologized for what she called horrible things. It was not a Christian-like thing to do, she wrote. I lost my cool, she wrote. I am terribly sorry. During the confrontation, the women admitted to calling Hensley a fat bitch. Today, the women say the whole incident was unfortunate and they know Hensley has apologized.
Everybody make mistakes, you know, and if she says sorry, of course we're going to accept her, and maybe she had a bad day.
Now, we reached out to Amber Hensley for comment. She did not get back to us, but on Facebook today, she responded to the backlash. She said that she's not perfect and that she's been praying and asking for forgiveness. But another on Facebook responded, you threaten people who just want a new life. God has no room for hate, so you better pray hard. Reporting live, Kevin Walvin, WDAY 6 News.
You know, one of the problems is a lot of times we frown on people that don't quite look like we do. You know, and guys, I'll be perfectly honest with you. One day I'm at the hospital and I went to get on the elevator and there was an older couple, an Indian couple, and the woman had a burqa on or whatever, and I looked up for a brief second and I want to tell you, I definitely had a reaction. And then I said to myself, you know what? They have as much a right to use this elevator as I do. But I was a little shocked at my, the way I reacted. But what really blew me away, one day I was up in New Milford. God's honest truth. I'm up in New Milford at the Walmart, and I'm in the parking lot, and I see a couple of guys with prayer mats in the parking lot, facing a setting sun, doing prayers. And I have to be honest with you, it took me back for a second. And right away I said, wait a minute. And then I said, wait, they got as much right to pray to whatever they want. Hey, you want to pray to Allah? Fine. You want to pray to Jesus? Fine. Hey, you got invisible friends in the sky? That's fine with me. I don't want to get involved with it. And I don't want to see churches keep getting tax breaks. That's another issue we got to talk about. But, a lot of times we start picking on the immigrants. And guys, on the last show or the show before, we showed crops in the field that were rotting because they aren't being picked, because there aren't enough immigrants and migrant workers. And this is important. So you know what some migrant workers are being offered? I know you're not going to believe this. They're being offered 401k plans to pick vegetables. And I'm saying to myself, now you're starting to talk my language. When you start to take care of your fellow man and start to treat him with respect and pay him a living wage with benefits, everybody does so much better. So, Judy, let's prove my point with clip number 15, please.
The Ikeda Brothers Farm harvest begins at sunrise.
We have other ranches that we've had for 90 years.
But this year, their 1,000 acres of bok choy, broccoli, and kale may not all make it to market.
Over the last couple of years, we haven't been able to harvest between 15 and 20% of our crops.
At the beginning of each day, Tommy Ikeda worries if he'll get enough workers to hand-pick the lush fields.
This year, it really hit hard. On a daily basis, in a harvest crew of 16 people, I may get all 16. I may get 9, you never know how many people are going to show up to work.
It's a serious labor shortage. 9 in 10 farm workers in California are foreign-born, many from Mexico. According to the Pew Research Center, more Mexican immigrants have been leaving the U.S. than are arriving.
The labor shortage is so severe that entire fields of vegetables like these have gone unharvested. In fact, here in Central California, in 2 counties, more than $13 million has been lost.
Among the causes, politics and policy. The Obama administration deported 3 million undocumented immigrants between 2009 and 2016. And the Trump administration has conducted a surge of arrests.
It's absolutely been detrimental to the agricultural community to be able to continue to grow and harvest the fruits and vegetables. It made it difficult to have day-to-day certainty.
That uncertainty could be a reflection of Washington.
I think there may be a little bit more fear because of the unknown.
How do you incentivize workers to come work for you?
We are paying well above minimum wage right now. We have a 401k, holiday and vacation pay.
Ikeda wants a more accessible guest worker visa program to ensure the next generation can take over his family's fields.
My hope for my son as well as my nephew is that they can take this operation and be able to overcome the challenges in the future.
To reap what they sow for another 100 years. Jolene Kent, NBC News, Oceano, California.
Around and you know, we got all different kinds of people that want to come work in this country. We have to treat them with respect. And the next clip is going to show you an average school teacher that's going through a border checkpoint that's nowhere near the border. And guys, she just did this to show people what people of color or Latinos or immigrants or migrants, what they have to go through at these checkpoints. And I want to tell you, if I went through one of these checkpoints, I wouldn't say a word. I'd tell the guy to get his supervisor. If worst comes to worst, I'm throwing the keys out or I ain't moving. I'd bog up the whole thing because, hey, you know, when you're a citizen of this country, you need to be treated with respect. These people treat you like you're monkeys. So, Judy, let's prove my point with clip number 16, please. She's detained by Border Patrol agents in New Mexico.
Right, but we're not crossing a border.
I wouldn't answer either. And she's right. Detained for over an hour.
I'm traveling down the road. It's the only way to get to my house. And I don't think anyone in this country not crossing a border should have to get pulled over, have their picture taken, loaded into the frickin' database for this country. If I just come through and say, yes, I'm a citizen, I can just go ahead.
If the agent's justified by the answer, yes.
Okay, so if I have an accent and I'm brown, can I just say yes and go ahead, or do I have to prove it? Because I have a bunch of teacher friends who are sick of their kids being discriminated against. When you detain people, you don't give them access to a bathroom? No.
Can you imagine this? Can you imagine these people doing this?
Generally, for me, with my children in the car, it's to teach them to fight back against oppression and bigotry. Oppression right now. I'm traveling in our country, the land of the free, and we're not free.
Is this what fascism looks like? Uncle Joey, is that what you want, kid? That how you want this country to be run, Joe? You want to get stopped on every corner? Show me your babies. Show me your babies, old man. All right, guys, we got some good news. And the next clip is going to prove to us that smoking pot can be good. So, guys, let's see how the people in Colorado are benefiting from smoking weed. Judy, clip 17, please. So guys, keep smoking. The kids are depending on us. And we're going to end up with the last clip with Al Gore. And guys, I love the way he uses the term climate crisis. No longer climate change or global warming, climate crisis. Judy, clip number 21, please.
I noticed you never say climate change. You say climate crisis.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, it's a crisis. The climate is just a very thin shell of atmosphere around the planet, and that makes it the most vulnerable part of the Earth's ecological system. You know, I guess I, along with many others, may spend more time than is warranted on the vocabulary and the ways of using words to describe it, but I just thought that climate crisis was a better way of expressing the problem. Climate change sometimes, to my ears anyway, sounds sort of benign and gradual and everything changes, but that's the reasoning behind it.
Was there a moment when you personally thought, this is a crisis?
Yeah, when the predictions of the scientists not only began coming true, but turned out to be even worse than they projected. Hurricane Katrina was such a moment years ago in New Orleans. Superstorm Sandy in this city in New York. And I have traveled around the world to see these events firsthand. And after a while, it really does sink in. We're radically changing the conditions that have been good for us as human beings and have led to the flourishing of human civilization. And we don't want to lose those conditions. And we're now in the midst of a process by which we're really rattling the foundations of the climate conditions that are good for us. And we can't do that. We shouldn't do that. We have to fix it.
Guys, don't forget, Gore's movie is, it started showing on the 28th, and it's going to be showing countrywide, I think on August 3rd. So it's called An Inconvenient Truth, the sequel, Truth to Power. Guys, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Judy and Kurt. Did a great job again tonight. We had a lot of fun. And, you know, next week, who knows what next week will bring. Who knows who's still going to be in office next week. But, guys, we want to say thank you. And thank you to Martino's and Miss Bubbles and everybody else that helps us. See you next week, guys.